Breathe in. Welcome to What the Fuchs with Jess Fuchs. Now breathe out.
And scream.
Because here's what's pissed Jess off this week. Sorry, but I am taking some deep breaths from the bottom of my goddamn diaphragm today. I am fighting for my life to not be petty. That's what today's about. And sometimes you wake up and you choose violence. And some days you wake up and you go, I am going to do everything in my body to be a pacifist. For what reason? I don't know. In an attempt to be a better person. Who cares? I am petty. Now, not about everything, but hey, I am petty. I can't lie to you, because at this point I am using this podcast instead of therapy, because therapy is too expensive this week for me. And I am what feels like dry swallowing a pill the size of an Adam's apple down my throat just to not explode, just to not detonate a bomb that is a petty bomb that is made up of anger, frustration, sadness, physical violence. That is what's in a petty bomb. There's a bath bomb, there's an atomic bomb, and then there's a petty bomb. And that is when you just fucking throw a grenade, a hand-built Molotov cocktail grenade into the center of someone who has fucked you off. And I'm not petty about everything. However, I am petty about a lot of things. I'm petty like if you and I got in a fight and I know I'm right, and you walk out the door, I hope that somehow an anvil falls through the sky or a piano and kills me, just so for the rest of your life, you were running through that last conversation we have going, fuck, I wish I just let her have that one. That's right. I hope the rest of your life is peppered with intrusive thoughts about me and how I was right and you were wrong. I want those intrusive thoughts of yours after I die to just be absolutely rancid, guilt-ridden. Oh, maybe if I had just admitted that she was right because she was right in that last fight, then I wouldn't have left the house. And then an hour and a half later when she stepped out, she wouldn't have been killed by a piano because she would have stepped out an hour after that. Again, not petty about everything, but I do ascribe to an eye for an eye method, which I know is very non-biblical, very non-pacifist, very non-whatever of me, but an eye for an eye, yeah, it makes the whole world blind. The whole world's blind. We all got what we deserved in the end. And you're probably sitting there like, oh my God, what happened, Jess? I'm not ready to divulge what happened this week. But to be honest, the start of the week was very tame, very boring, very to the point where I started going, oh no. What's my life? What am I doing? I'm so utterly bored. And then God, karma, the psychic I haven't visited in a while, but she wants a bit more of my business, sent me a fucking lightning bolt right to the asshole. This week. Okay, so I am on the forever quest to improve my sleep. And in that quest, I have started trying to read more before bed. So I put a call out on Instagram the other day asking for book suggestions. I got a couple. I've read a few. My problem is I read with the intention of going, I'm going to read so that I don't stay up for 5 hours watching TV, and then I read for 5 hours. So I don't know if I am addicted to just not going to sleep, which I have never been a good sleeper even as a child. My dad had to peel me out of bed at 7 a.m. to go to school because I was up till like 4 a.m. It's like, no wonder I'm so short. My family always used to make fun of me that I'm short. And I'm actually fine. My height is fine. I reckon I'm average woman height. I'm going to Google this. Average height of a woman. It's incredible. In 2024, I actually grew 2 centimeters. I was walking around thinking I'm 163 centimeters. Really, I'm 165 centimeters. Jumped from the doctor's chair right onto the dating app to update that. Okay, the average height of a woman varies by region and country. Globally, the average height of an adult woman born 1996. Wait, shut up. Different. Are we getting smaller or taller as a people? That's amazing. Okay, so in 1996, the average height of a woman born is going to be 5'3", 159 centimeters. I'm tall as hell. Fuck. I should play for the WNBA. I'm so much taller than the average. That's fucking United States, the average woman is 165. So I'm dead on average. Wow. The United States average is 5'3" 3.5 inches. Europe, it's 5'6". Yeah, that's because they have all those like Viking women. They have that shit mixing around in Sweden and stuff, and those women are tall. I've never met a blonde woman who comes from a Viking country, which I know there's probably only one, who I'm not just sitting comfortably at her nipples. They're like these big volleyball player bitches, and I'm like, what are you doing in Bondi? We don't need more of you around here. I'm fighting for my life in these waves. And they're elegantly swanning around with their fucking blonde hair and no arm hair. No pubes. 0% body fat. And I'm some Holocaust surviving Eastern European fucking chunky nugget. Thick hair, coarse hair, needing to do fucking years of laser hair removal. It's so quick, it works so quickly. You only need like 6 to 8 sessions. With the huge asterisk of if your hair is not thick, coarse, and pube-like. The texture difference between the hair on my head, the hair on my arms, and the hair on my pelvis is incriminatingly similar. So I've been trying to read more, and you know what's crazy? I'm noticing with a lot of these and I'm reading smut. I'm going to be really honest with you guys. I can't read anything too scientific, too historical, because then I'm getting too into it. I can't put it down. So I just go for very easy, like romance, smutty, whatever. Just can switch your brain off, but still be like, I get it. Like each page, they just are like pining after each other, and one doesn't want the other one, and one secretly wants them, and they both want each other, but then they're mean to each other because of their historical past. La 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 la, wank wank. It's so easy to fall asleep to. But what I've noticed is a lot of these writers, they will have like 1 or 2 words that clearly are like not your average used words, and they run them through this book because it is their like kind of like let's say it's like decadent or opulent. Like no one's using the word opulent more than once a month, every quarter in their regular vocab. But in these books, they will use them like every 10th page. It's like the lighting was opulent against her breasts. I'm like, that doesn't even make sense. And the other thing too is the resistance to using any sort of words that describe vagina and penis in kind of a very like simple way is so funny. My favorite thing about the language that they choose to use in all these romance novels is I read one the other day and they continuously referred to the woman's vagina as the sex. They'd be like, he rubs her sex, he rubs up against her sex. And I'm like, but you're calling his dick a cock? His hard, throbbing, juicy cock, the sex. I'm like, why wouldn't you just say vag? Pussy is an insane word to throw out without a trigger warning. I think there's something so pussy, it's so But the sex is not an adequate synonym for vagina because sex is encapsulating so many things. So how are you saying, oh, he's thick cock? I'm like, thick cock? It's 11:15. I'm trying to fall asleep. There is no genre that is a healthy bridging read between awake hours and helping yourself fall to sleep. It is so impossible to find some sort of literature that is just like not a jump scare. Anyway, so sleep is evading me if you couldn't see that in my eyes or hear that in my voice or just my general, I guess, anger. I think the more sleep deprived I get, the more aggressive I am, the more perturbed I am. What else did I do? Oh God, I'm utterly bored of myself, and I'm sorry you must be bored of me too. The only other considerable thing that happened this week, bar being fucked with, which you will find out at some point. I am just not ready yet, and do not push me on this. The only other thing is I got full body laser. Now, we've already touched upon laser, and some of you are aware of what I've got going on in my body. Essentially, from the eyelashes down, I am hairless. Except I had a bunch of sessions on my arms because I used to have really thick, coarse, dense, to the point where people would literally pet it. They wouldn't even, it would be so subconscious, like someone was sitting next to me and they would just look over at me and just start kind of combing over my arm hair because it was so directional as well, which I know everyone has, but I don't want you knowing that I have directional arm hair. I don't want you touching my arm hair. I don't want you noticing my arm hair. So yeah, I got a bunch of sessions on there. And then I'd still have a bush, and call me crazy. And I have some friends who got rid of their bush. And there has been discussion as of late around the bush. Because in the last, let's say 2 to 5 years, I'm going to ballpark it, there is, especially on Twitter, there is more discussion around the resurgence of the bush. Because there is a power, there is a empowerment to having a little bit of pubis. Now, you do what you want with your body, your choice. I don't care. But call me crazy. I like not looking like a newborn baby. That's just me. So anyway, I just like to give that asterisk because I want you to know, and I want to be open and vulnerable about what sort of hair I have going on. But I'm like, strip that asshole clean. There's nothing comforting about some hair around the hole. I'm sure there's an evolutionary need for it, but I'll be honest, there's evolutionary need for us to get out of the house every single day and be out in nature, but many of us don't do that. Many of us just live in a little cave that we have created that has food and water and internet, and we're just like, this is good for us. I'll just sit for 20 hours a day, and then for 4 hours I'll move a little bit by mistake every time I need to go to the toilet. So don't talk to me about evolution and, your asshole needs hair. Not that hey, can I just clear something up very quickly? No one has ever argued with me about the evolutionary need of me to keep the hair on my asshole or my armpits. So, I'm now starting to get into the point where I'm spiraling to invent conversations that have happened because not much is going on in my life. I swear to God, I was complaining literally about how boring my life was, and then the Lord brought me to my knees and said, watch this, bitch. I'm about to throw you a spanner that will piss you off for 72 hours minimum. Sometimes talking things into existence is incredibly powerful, and we have to be careful of how much we use our magic. I used to wish I was Sabrina the Teenage Witch. And I know we all did this when we were young. We'd be like, I know I'm not. I know I'm not a witch, but let me just quickly try. I know I'm not, but let me just quickly. So I've been doing laser hair removal for way too long, and it's really none of your business. And I was under the impression that this is how it works. You get a bunch of sessions, and then the hair just stops growing back, and then you do a yearly maintenance. And that has been my experience in the last, say, 6 months to a year. I really haven't needed it as much, except for on my face, because your face is hormonal. So like randomly I'll just get like hairs when I guess I'm extra horny or something. I don't know what your hormones control. But I had some packages that I bought because they do like holiday packages. And consider the woman who did my previous session a good saleswoman, because she upsold me and I was like, fuck yeah, let's go, bitch. So I needed to use all of them before they expire because they don't last very long, these packages. So I went and got full body from my nose down recently. And what is incredibly disarming is I used to complain a lot, and I actually have a joke in my most recent stand-up comedy special about how these women will just like talk a lot. Like they'll just overshare and tell you about their lives and tell you about their boyfriends and their families and just to the point where it is like, I don't know why you are confiding in me, a perfect stranger, the most fucking horrendous shit that's ever happened to you, but peace be with you. And I hope that you and everyone in this horrific story you've told me have found peace, because I have never needed to gasp so hard but had to keep my mouth shut because there is a hot laser on my upper lip. These women experience incredible pain in their lives and then come to work to have to stare up my lips. Not my mouth lips, my pussy lips. And that is shocking to me. And I don't think we speak about it enough. I do try to talk to crowds and talk to friends and just, get some data on what sort of stories they're hearing. It's hardcore stuff. And I'm like, I meet so many different kinds of people through my job, through everyday life. You don't go into a bookshop, end up chatting with a woman who tells you that like her best friend's boyfriend was murdered in a foreign country, and then they have to go and avenge the blood and like go to a court case in another country. I've had a friend tell me that that's what happened at their most recent laser hair removal appointment, that they were told that. Could you imagine? And now you have to bring your request of, do you mind just doing my armpits because I'm a little bit embarrassed about how much hair I have on my armpits. Shut up. How are you embarrassed or insecure about anything? You've just heard about a murder. But what is striking to me is forever I have had these women who speak, and I'll make polite conversation back, But in my recent attempt to be a little bit less people pleasing, a little bit less overextending, and just kind of white knuckle it through situations and just be like, even if you think this is an uncomfortable situation for them because you're not making polite conversation, which would put this Uber ride at ease, you don't need to do it. You don't need to overextend, because then you get exhausted and then you aren't happy. And then you are tired. So I go to this laser appointment and I say, Jess, you will be polite. If she says, how's your day? You'll say, great, thank you. How's yours? And she'll say, good, it's very busy. And you don't need to say, oh yeah, is this a busy time of year? You just go, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Practice it with me now, everybody. 1, 2, 3. Mm-hmm. You will be polite, but you will not overextend. So I go to this appointment going, oh boy, what's happened in this one's life? Here we go. Strap me in. Let's hear your fucking bio. And she doesn't say anything. We do the polite, okay, so today we're doing everything. Yes, please. Silence. The sweet release. The sweet sound of pure silence. All I could hear was the burning follicles of the hair from my nostrils down. And God, did it sound and smell so sweet. We sat in silence. And then, as we sat in silence, all you could hear that would pierce the silence was me telling her what was next. And in a room of silence, what is worse than, so sorry, but could you please do my flaps? So sorry, but could you please get my asshole? So sorry. Could you actually make sure that you include my toes? That is far more painful. That silence only interrupted by the uncomfortable request of the most intimate, soft parts of your body needing to be stripped of pubes. I used to complain that they would speak in overshare and I'm uncomfortable. And now, once again, I've been struck down with silence to learn a lesson that sometimes you must be grateful, because the grass that you think is so much greener, it's actually not. It's rotten and it's poison and it's trying to kill you. It's poison ivy. What you think you want, what you think you desire so deeply, it's not it. What you really truly want is for a woman to just tell you about the worst thing she's ever experienced, because then you don't think her staring at your fucking brown eye is the worst thing that you've ever experienced. Really, the perspective of her staring at your open flaps in a very clinically lit room is water under a bridge, because she has seen her brother murdered by a horse. So in many ways, this week was about perspective. And I hate that I have just realized that during this podcast. When I tell you I did not endeavor to discuss these things and I did not endeavor to learn these things, this week was about being petty, but now it's about being appreciative. Realizing that maybe things aren't bad when they're bad, because really it will get worse. If you ask it to, it will, and it can, and it has. Here's to this week getting a little bit better. It's only Tuesday, so we still have time, and I still have faith. And if this episode has taught you nothing but to just be happy with whatever shit slop you're in the center of and whatever quicksand you are slipping into, because if you aren't, it's gonna get worse. And I don't like how people pretend, oh, don't worry, it gets better when you get old. No, it doesn't. Oh, it gets better, just bring a positive attitude. No, I must leave. I must go. All right, if anyone's got anything they want to talk about, please feel free to submit it. You can literally find it on my Instagram in my link tree, and you can just fill it in anonymously. And I fucking love when you guys send me complaints, because it really lights me on fire. And sometimes, like I said at the start, my life's pretty boring. I just like to talk. And so if you've got any theme submissions, any stories you want to share, any, honestly, questions, I don't even care what it is. You can just write in and complain, or just write in and ask me about something that I complain about. I don't really care. Just help me out. Help me out to get you the content every week, because I do like to talk, and you can tell that I need it. You can tell that it is a learning moment for me. I mean, I have grown this week. All right, till next week. I feel like I've whispered this whole episode, which is when you know you're really mad, you actually don't scream. You get more silent and visceral, and I think my eyes have been glowing red this whole time. That's what it feels like. I can't really see much. See ya. Thanks for listening. Bye.